What's up everyone? My name is Itssbbz and we have reached the final event of E3 2017. The last company to take the stage is Nintendo, and they actually stopped doing this whole press conference thing a couple of years ago. Instead, they're hosting a live stream for the duration of E3 with a special spotlight somewhere in the middle. Now this spotlight is kind of like a Nintendo Direct, except it's specially designed for E3 or something like that. So, I won't be able to cover 3 days of E3 goodies. Instead, I'm gonna cover this little spotlight, and I will bring up a couple of other titles that was shown outside of this spotlight. Anyways, Nintendo isn't doing the whole press conference thing, so let's see how they started the little spotlight off. So, starting the whole event off with a montage of the different games that has already been released and a couple of upcoming games, for example Splatoon 2 and Rocket League. Yes, Rocket League is actually headed for the Switch. After this, Reggie enters the scene and gives us a brief speech about the fun of gaming and how it's a portal into another wonderful world, and I actually agree with him. Anyways, after that, he grabs his Nintendo Switch and ends his little speech with the, I'd say now classic Nintendo Switch transition. Let's go! The presentation moves on from here to a brand new trailer of Xenoblades Chronicles 2. A brief but story-heavy trailer featuring some really good anime-looking graphics and a girl that was apparently a sword. Now, the story really didn't make sense, and according to me, the voice actors could have done a much better job. But other than that, the graphics and the game was actually stunning, and the gameplay looked like some classic JRPG gameplay with a focus on a singular character instead of having a party to build up. Now, the trailer actually left me wanting to see more. Like, the world was stunning and the environments were absolutely beautiful, so I want to see more. The little pink powerhouse Kirby is back and is getting a Switch game. Now, so far all of the name we've seen is just Kirby, so I'm guessing that's a working title. But the trailer was actually all gameplay, no CGI, no bullshit, just giving it to us straight, and that's how I like it. Now, the game features Kirby and what looked like 3 enemy characters turned good as companions of Kirby. Now, these companions come with their own abilities that can be combined with Kirby's abilities. For example, instead of having the good old regular sword, Kirby can turn it into a fire sword with one of the companions' abilities. The Kirby games are usually pretty good with having lots and lots of abilities, and having the ability to combine it with an element of your companion, it will unlock a huge amount of abilities, and I'm looking forward to that. And hopefully the companions will have some sort of co-op ability, which was actually hinted at in the last scene of the trailer. The spotlight moved on from here to a brief speech about the portability of the Nintendo Switch, and announcing that Nintendo is working on many titles taking advantage of the portability. They moved on from here to go to the Pokemon Company, and from here they started talking a little bit more about Pokken Tournament, which was actually released a little while ago. And I'm not going to go into details on this because everything they announced here was actually announced like a week ago at their Pokemon Direct. Except the end of the little Pokemon part of the presentation, in which they actually announced that the Pokemon Company is working on a core Pokemon game for the Nintendo Switch. Which is really cool and all, because this will actually be like the first core Pokemon that isn't on a Game Boy. But they could have done more. I mean, this was just one guy sitting in front of a camera saying, there will be a core Pokemon game released for the Switch. And I mean, this could have been done with like a press message or something like that, but they could have showed us anything, but they didn't. Before moving on to the next gameplay trailer, Nintendo showed us this. The first installment in the Metroid Prime series in almost 10 years. And that is freaking amazing because I actually enjoyed the Metroid Prime series back in the days. Now, I only tried them, I didn't finish any of them, but I still enjoy them quite a lot. Now, the announcement could have been a little bit grander in my opinion. I mean, it was just a logo, some music, and the announcement that it's in development for the Nintendo Switch. No release date, nothing gameplay, and that's a little boring. I mean, just like the Pokemon announcement, they could have shown something, but they chose to show nothing, and I'd say it's a little bit too early if you don't have anything to show. Next up, Nintendo announced with a wonderful gameplay trailer that Yoshi is heading to the Switch. And this time, it doesn't look like it's all about yarn and all that. It looks like the world is made of cardboard. And Yoshi actually looks all cute and stuff, being like a little plushie and not made of yarn. The gameplay actually looked very linear, but Nintendo always have something up their sleeve. And in this game, Yoshi actually have the ability to ground pound the ground to turn the camera around. Basically like if you're looking at the scene and just turning to look at it from another view. And this game mechanic actually looked like it could be incorporated in a lot of cool ways, so I'm pretty stoked for this. It looks like Yoshi still has his regular old arsenal too. The jump, the eating of the enemies, the throwing of the eggs, and the running in the air to keep him afloat a little longer. And since I liked the recent Yoshi game when it was all about the yarn, I'm most definitely giving this game a shot. After some more trailers, Eiji Aonuma enters to talk about the Legend of Zelda. He starts off by talking about how Skyrim will have Zelda items, for example the Master Sword, with the use of Amiibos. And I'm just really sick of hearing about Skyrim in this year of E3. I mean, this must have been the 10th mention during the press conferences of the year, and I mean, is Bethesda really that out of ideas that they have to still keep pushing a game from 6 years ago?
Oh, when did this Master Sword get in my hand?
After finding a sword in his own hand, Aonuma talks about the upcoming stuff in the DLC packs for Breath of the Wild. He starts off by showing us a couple of the masks, for example the Koroko mask that will help us find those little fuckers, because some of them are actually kinda hard to find. He then moves into the Trial of the Sword, I think it was called, and he showed us a couple of scenes from it. For example, a room where Link starts out with no clothes, finding like a tree branch as a weapon, and then he has to fight his way from there. And I don't know if this is like the start of this whole trial or if this is just one room, but it kind of looked cool.
Oh.
He moved on from here to showcasing a couple of new mechanics in the upcoming hard mode DLC. For example, showing us the Golden Lionel and, well, other golden versions of enemies. And they actually showed us a really cool scene where Link tried to sneak up on an unsuspecting Bokoblin, but the Bokoblin noticed him and went for his horn as he usually does to warn the other enemies around. And this was where they actually showed us some really cool new ways that the AI will work in this mode. When he blew his little horn, from the level below, like a raft or something like that, was lifted up with like octoballoons attached to it for the lifting purpose, and on it there was a Bokoblin standing using his bow to shoot at Link. And I mean, this kind of changes in the AI will drastically change their gameplay, and I'm looking forward to trying this. The Champion's Ballad. Now, not much was shown about this, but like with Link missing in that picture in the end right there, I'm guessing this will be some kind of prequel story about how they found Link or something like that. Now, I actually don't know, I'm just speculating, but it would be really cool. After this, Aonuma announced 4 more amiibos that are upcoming for the Breath of the Wild. Each is one of the champions from the 4 races that live in Hyrule, and they were actually pretty good looking, but god damn you, Nintendo, I am running out of space on my fucking amiibo shelf up there. The next title, it really caught me by surprise. Ubisoft and Nintendo are joining forces to bring us Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. A game that I can only describe as Mario XCOM with Rabbids. So, the Rabbids that was originally shown in Rayman's Raving Rabbids, released on the Wii back when it's got its release back in the days, they have somehow been transported into the Mushroom Kingdom, and as they were transported in there, somehow the dimensions got all twisted up and everything in the Mushroom Kingdom is all messed up. So Mario and his newfound rabbit friends, they have to save the day by, returning the Mushroom Kingdom to its original form, getting the rabbits home to Ubisoft, and, well, saving the day in regular old Mario fashion. The gameplay is basically XCOM straight up. It's a strategic turn-based combat set in a top-down perspective where you move your characters along a grid-based map, using cover and the environment as your friends, and it really looks great. Originally, the trailer was shown at the Ubisoft press conference, and when I observed how much like XCOM this game was, I've actually never felt as dirty as when I reached for my phone to pre-order the game. But I mean, I love the XCOM games, and I'm guessing that this will be a perfect addition to my portable library because the XCOM gameplay style is, according to me, a perfect portable gameplay style. Rocket League is coming to the Switch, along with some exclusive customization options for your cars, and just like all the other versions of Rocket League, it will be cross-platform. We finally got to see more gameplay from Super Mario Odyssey, and Nintendo really likes trying out new things, and in Super Mario Odyssey, they have most definitely done so. In this game, Super Mario can throw his little cap onto enemies, and with this ability, he basically takes them over, like the Exorcist style. And this opens up a lot of really cool opportunities, using the enemy's abilities to your own advantage. Now, they even teased a little bit more levels from the game. For example, there's a desert level that looks freaking endless, like in a good way. And there's even a level that is inspired by Manhattan. I can actually recall a certain episode from the Super Mario 3 cartoon that was shown when I was a kid. In this episode, two of the Koopa kids, they escaped the Mushroom Kingdom and actually showed up in Hollywood of all places. Now, they did a whole bunch of shenanigans when they were there, and of course Super Mario showed up and he saved the day. But like, one thing has always stayed with me from that episode, and that's like Super Mario in the real world. I always thought that was a really cool thought, and I always wanted to try it out. And basically, with Super Mario Odyssey, it's my childhood dream come true. In Super Mario Odyssey, they're doing something that I actually missed in the last couple of Mario titles. They're bringing back worlds instead of stages. Like in Super Mario 64 and in Sunshine, and I would actually argue in even older titles than that, Super Mario has always traveled to different worlds that would drastically change like the look of the levels and get gameplay mechanics of the levels. I mean, think back to Super Mario 3 and the Giant World. But if you take a look at, for example, Super Mario 3D World and, let's say, Super Mario Galaxy, I always felt like you access stages in those games. Take, for example, Galaxy. When you travel to a planet there, it feels like that planet is its own set of things, and when you travel inside a pipe there, you usually end up in like its own little stage. And I think, especially Sunshine and especially Super Mario 3D World, and Land for that reason, they're very stage-based. It's not like if you do something, it won't change the outcome of the whole level, it would just change that little area. And I've always missed that from Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine and so on. Super Mario Odyssey was actually the last game shown during Nintendo's little spotlight, but they were far from done having the 3-day stream. And I'm not gonna get into every little single detail, so I'm actually just gonna talk about 2 more games that was revealed during the streams. Mario & Luigi's Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions is in development for Nintendo 3DS, and this was probably the lamest announcement in gaming history.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3 2017. We've got Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions, which I believe we're just announcing now.
Yes, surprise.
Neat.
Luckily, these games are remakes of fantastic games, so for all those who haven't tried the old games out, now have a perfect opportunity to do so on their 3DSs. Not one, but 2 Metroid games was announced during this year's E3. Metroid Samus Returns is coming to the 3DS, and it looks like some classic 2D Metroidvania awesomeness with claustrophobic environments and monsters creeping at every single corners. During the trailer, we got to see Samus use some kind of counterattack against some kind of boss monster, revealing its weak spot. And I don't know if this is an ability that Samus will be able to use at all times, or it's just a situational ability, but I know one thing for certain, that is that I have to dust off my 3DS. Nintendo kept going for 3 days by showing gameplay from the different games they talked about, more announcements, and there was a whole lot of things, and I actually haven't been able to catch up with everything just yet. Hopefully, some of my questions will actually be answered in some of those videos. Anyways, E3 is awesome, but it's very tiresome, and I'm going to kick back and fill my brain with some more E3. So next week, I will give myself a little bit of time this time. Next week, I will be back to talk about whatever Bethesda and Ubisoft and all the others actually showed during E3 that piqued my interest. I hope to see you all in the next video. Peace out.